Good morning. Uh, this is MS. There's hope. Uh, I hope you people out there watching this really actually can grasp that there is hope. And today we're going to see why there's hope. I'm going to read a short devotional. Today, our guest is Jean Lawson. Jean is a grandmother, lives north of Atlanta, about 40 miles, and she is a perfect example of why you're never too old. I'm not, I'm not putting down your age, Jane. Jane, you're never too old to do the protocol. And I'll tell you, we talked this morning before doing the interview, and her mind is sharp, and she looks wonderful. She's happy, and she's a shining example of why you should do this if you're contemplating it. I'm going to read a short disclaimer here, and then we're going to get right into Jean's testimony. By the way, good morning, Jean. It's afternoon there.
Yeah, afternoon.
All right. This interview is from our own personal experiences. We are not talking in specifics, but in more general terms about our experiences doing the Coimbra protocol. We are not giving medical advice or addressing individual cases. Cases and results can vary using different methods. Medical protocols and methods of treating MS should be done with a licensed medical professional. Again, Jean, nice to meet you. I can't wait to hear your testimony. And I guess without any further ado, just jump right in and start out how you got diagnosed and what happened.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. I believe these testimonials are so important because they really helped me.
Yes.
I had some symptoms about 25 years ago that might have been MS, but I'll never know. But the big symptom was about 10 years ago, I got double vision, and an optometrist kind of played around double vision. It could be a serious problem. I went to my ophthalmologist, and he sent me to a specialist in Atlanta who was an ophthalmologist neurologist, and to see why I had double vision. So I had my first MRI, and she right off the bat said, "I think you have MS." And I'm just flabbergasted.
Let me interject something. Double vision, it's not uncommon.
And she showed me a lesion. But so anyway, from there, I got a neurologist, and I would get MRIs. I had a moderate number of brain lesions and brainstem lesions, but no one would officially diagnose me with MS. I had 3 different neurologists, and I think it was because my only symptom at the time. And but then in 2018, I fell apart. Suddenly, there's just cascading symptoms, and I've got a list here so I don't forget any. I had foot drop. I would cough whenever I ate. I had urge incontinence. I had episodes of severe itching. I had severe sharp stabbing pains in various parts of my body. I had painful spasticity and cramps every day and night. And I had balance issues. I was feeling like I was getting stuck with pins and needles. I started to fall down. I had 3 falls where I injured myself. I had hand tremors, a weakness in my left leg, possible optic neuritis, leg and hip pain, especially at night, insomnia, unable to walk more than a block without pain. So it's like I just started to fall apart. So I got another MRI, and I got a new neurologist, and he said, "I can't believe you're walking." So that was, he, by looking at my lesions. So he sent me to a MS specialist at the MS Center in Atlanta. And that's when I finally got diagnosed. But let me tell you, walking into that waiting room, I'm scared, am I going to get diagnosed? And I walk in and there's wheelchairs everywhere. And there's even a person on a gurney that had to come to the doctor that way. And I'm like, oh, am I looking at my future? I'm terrified. So he diagnosed me with PP to start taking Ocrevus. And so I took the literature home with me and I started looking at it. And from my humble opinion, how I was reading it, it looked like that my copay was going to be $6,000 a year for a drug that was going to suppress my immune system. And it could give me breast cancer, etc. And I thought it looked like I was going to be given a 25% chance of slowing down the disease with all these side effects. And so I went home and said no to a doctor if they said I needed to do something. But I don't want to do this. So I did. It took a while and it took a lot of me viewing a lot of testimonials, but I decided, I had to find an alternative. I cannot take this drug. And I think the first mention I heard of the protocol was Anna's book, Multiple Sclerosis and Lots of Vitamin D.
Lots of vitamin D, I know is in
So I
part of
read
the
that
title.
book, and I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, John.
One of the things I want to point out to people is a side effect of Ocrevus is death.
Right,
So
that is it. PML, is that what it's called?
it's a brain disease, I believe.
It's scary, very
And
scary.
I took another drug, worst side effects I've ever had in my life. I had a cold while I was on the drug, and because my immune system was suppressed, it was the worst cold of my life. I laid in bed and literally
Oh,
I wanted to die.
that sounds horrible.
It was.
Mm.
Go ahead.
But anyway, I remember one night my youngest daughter was with me, and we stayed up real late into the night looking for testimonials. And I was looking for them on YouTube. And there's one, they were all impressive, but there was one that really touched me. I don't know if you ever saw it. It was an older woman, Marie, and her daughter, Stacy. And it was hard to hear her speak, but I could make it out what she was saying. She has been in pain for at least 7 years, 24 hours a day, been in pain. And here she was smiling, and I was so impressed by that. So,
I actually introduced them to the protocol.
oh, did you?
Yeah.
Well, that video really touched me. Maybe it was because of her age, but
Yeah, she was very she was older than you.
I think
And
so.
and
I'm 74, and I
she was in a
don't.
wheelchair, I think. Her daughter took care of her.
I'm sorry, you're cutting out. I'm sorry, I can't hear you, John.
Oh, I said.
Good old computers.
I believe her daughter took care of her.
Yes, yes. And they were both so thrilled with the protocol.
They were ecstatic
They
at
were
the beginning.
overjoyed.
But this is something she had a problem with, drinking all the water. And you must drink all the water. And there's
Absolutely.
you just got to do it. You know,
It's, it's not easy, but
you know,
it's better
you
than
get used
MS.
to it. You get used to it. I got used to it. I still drink 84 ounces of water a day, sometimes more.
I
And
do the
that's
same
2.5
thing.
liters, if you're wondering. And yeah, you go to the bathroom a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of water.
I think your bladder gets used to it too.
It does.
It's not as bad
It does.
after you get
Like I
used to
used
it.
to at night, I used to go to the bathroom in the beginning every hour or two. And now sometimes, if I get all my water in earlier in the day, I can
Hmm.
go most of the night and just go once, which isn't bad for an old guy. Old guys go to the bathroom a lot anyway.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Let me think. What else? I
So, what year did you start the protocol?
I started in April. No, let's see. I started in June of 2019. So that was 2 months after I got my diagnosis. So I'm thrilled that I was able to avoid DMD drugs and jumped right into the protocol. And it was amazing. John, within 3 months, practically every one of those symptoms I listed were gone. It was amazing. And I was so glad to not have to go through the cramping and the spasticity. That was really painful. And I'm
Didn't
just
you
so grateful.
literally want to scream when it started working? Didn't you
Oh,
just feel like screaming?
and sometimes I have to tell people this, that sometimes you don't realize how much better you're getting because
Absolutely.
you forget that you had that symptom. But when
Yes.
you think back on it and you're like, oh, I don't do that anymore, and I don't do this anymore, and you start realizing I'm getting better, and it's a marvelous feeling.
It,
And
I said that I was like Lazarus coming out of the tomb. I was like, I wanted to tell the whole world that, uh, about this very wonderful thing that was happening to me. And what I found out was that because my lapel doesn't say Dr. Otwell, and because the pharmaceutical industry has billions and billions and billions of dollars,
that's
that
right.
people wouldn't listen to me. But you know what? There's one thing they can't take from us, and that's that we know the truth.
We
We've been
do.
through it. We know this works, and when you hear about it, it sounds too good to be true.
But
But
it
you and
makes sense, John.
it
It makes
does
sense when you study what vitamin D does for our bodies.
absolutely.
It makes more sense than DMD drugs.
Yeah, we're
And you
not
know what?
suppressing our immune system.
One of the nice benefits of the protocol, I haven't had a sniffle in 3 years. No
Me
cold, no
neither.
infection, no nothing.
Nothing. You know what? I had COVID back 2 years ago, probably now, or a year ago.
Yeah,
And I was just telling Jean that day and a half, slightly elevated temp, lost my taste and smell for a day and a half, but
that
it
was your
wasn't bad at
good
all.
immune system doing that.
I think so.
Well,
Yes.
I will be forever grateful to Dr.
Yes.
Calibra.
Yes. Yes.
And
I
and
would
that is
hug
the
him.
I try to tell people, I don't have a white coat either. And I try to tell people, oh, this is marvelous and you should try this. And it does sound too good to be true. Uh, but I don't know. I wanted to, after going in that waiting room at the MS Center in Atlanta, I wanted to go get business cards made that said there's an alternative. You don't have to go through this. So, but people are not really that open to it. And I think testimonials are what is needed the most because that's what got me over the fence.
Yes. We are getting more testimonials and more doctors. when I started this, there was a doctor on YouTube who it's my understanding now that he's not involved with the protocol and it's illegal for him to do what he does, but he does it anyway. He does
Huh.
testimonials and he probably has 5,000, but they're all in Portuguese. Uh,
Oh,
so I used to watch those videos and people would come in, they'd be like this, and then the next video would be 6 months later. They'd be smiling and happy, and you didn't need to speak Portuguese to know
to
that it
see the
worked.
difference.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in their countenance. Like your countenance today, you're so happy, so vibrant, so alive. And that's what I tell people. It's like one of the first things that I notice is your speech is the first, usually because I hear you. And your speaking is much more crisp. And you enunciate words, you don't slur, you don't cough, you don't whatever. And the second thing is, if I can see you, it's usually your face, and it's usually uh, you need a crowbar to get the smile off their face because they're smiling from ear to ear, and they're
Yeah.
so happy. I know that feeling. You're just ecstatic.
Well, that
Um,
feeling is us getting our lives back, and it's a wonderful thing.
yes, I think that you know, did I lose things? Oh yeah, I lost the ability to walk, and I can't feel. And did I lose some physical thing? Yes, but I gained too. When my
I know.
disease stopped, uh, I got my mind and my speech back, and there's a lot I got back. And I've said this before that, and I'll say this to everybody out there: um, maybe you won't get something back, but it doesn't mean you can't add something that you didn't have before, and
That's
that's what
right.
I've done.
That's right.
I've actually added to my life, and I'm so grateful for it. I'm
Well,
not
I
glad I got MS. And they, you know, people know that I'm a Christian man. Let me give you one piece of theology. God doesn't cause you to get sick. God works through your sickness to show who He
mhm.
is, and that is in my life. Um, you know, I got sick and everything, but I've gained. I help orphans and widows. I do this. I do so much now, more now
more
than I
more
did.
than you would have.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Anyway, I have diarrhea of the mouth, and so uh, let's get back to you. I want you to talk about a couple of things. First of all, you mentioned that you saw people in gurneys and in wheelchairs, and it made you feel like what?
Well, it terrified me. I thought I was looking at my future. And one thing I did that was really, I don't know if it was a good thing to do. I knew a celebrity that had MS was Annette Funicello. So I looked her up on YouTube and I saw a video of her in her last stages. And I don't know why anybody took it. I guess her husband took it, but uh, it was the saddest thing I ever saw. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can't do that. I cannot put my family through that. And how do I not do that? And I mean, I really wondered, would I have the guts to do myself in before I got to that point? So that was my mindset. This is a horrible thing.
There are
And
people watching right now, and you've contemplated dying. We
mhm,
understand that because your outlook to life, you're like, what is my life going to be? My life is over. And what she's touching on there is suicide. And there may be somebody who's going through it, going through exactly what you were feeling. And we're here to tell you that there is something out there.
well, I don't even think about MS. I
I
don't
don't either.
I don't have reminders that I have it. I just have to I rem I check in with other people, but it's just a wonderful thing to forget that I have it.
You
So
know, the biggest thing I'm going to tell all you people out there listening that can see us and hear us is that once you do the protocol, you get better. You do, you forget. And, but it's, there are some people that realize it. And I don't say this to put down the people that walk away. There are a lot of people that get better and they walk away. I never see them again. I never talk to them again. But there
mhm.
is a certain string of people that understand that it's no longer about us. It's no longer
You're
about me.
exactly right.
It's about that mother or that dad
Mhm.
that has no hope. And we want to bring them a little bit of hope that life can still be good. You can still experience joy, uh,
Right.
and that you didn't think that you could. You know, I'm in a
Well,
wheelchair,
I
and
think
I still experience joy.
I think we lose sight too of and some people may uh put too much stock in getting rid of their symptoms when the real goal is to stop the progress.
Yeah,
You you don't want it to get any worse. And if that happens, I mean, some people may think that it didn't work for them because they're still in a wheelchair, but if it has stopped the progress, they're winners.
you know what was funny is when I started this, I started with somebody that got better and they're up walking around taking care of their 5 children. I went into a wheelchair and I stayed there and I didn't get out. And she used to always say to me, if your disease does not progress, it's still a victory. And she was right. But the
Hmm.
person to tell that to you is somebody else in a wheelchair. It's not somebody up walking around going to the refrigerator getting a soda. But
Hmm.
Jean is absolutely right. I wake up, I still have reminders of MS, but I don't worry about MS anymore. Um, you know, that we stop the progression. And
Right.
when it starts progressing, Jane was sharing her symptoms there. I had one symptom where my fingers would vibrate against each other and they would shake. And when my fingers started doing that, I could see the writing on the wall. I could see the end. And I had spasm. You know, she was going through her symptoms there. I used to spasm in my face. My scalp would itch so bad that I would itch it until my fingers were bloody.
There's just so many symptoms. It's just
Terrible.
it is crazy.
Yeah.
Let's see. I was just going to say something and I forgot what it was.
Oh, I probably interrupted you.
Oh, that's okay. We've probably pretty much covered it, but it's a wonderful
Okay.
thing. I'm glad to be able to do this and
What
share
would
my
you tell
happiness.
somebody sitting on the fence right now that's like, yeah, I don't know? What would
You
you
have,
tell that person?
I would say, you have absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Yes.
I think through my research that the Coimbra Protocol offers more success for less risk than anything out there. And I mean, what do you have to lose? You do have to, stick to the diet.
Yeah.
You don't have to be careful, but it's easy once you turn it into a lifestyle. So
And your
give it
life
a
can be
try because
so,
I mean, not everybody's going to have the success I had, to get rid of most of my symptoms in 3 months.
yeah, that's
But
wonderful.
even if it had taken me 3 years, it would have been worth it. So
That's how long it took me.
yeah. So I just urge people to give it a shot. It's a wonderful thing. And
Well,
I'm so impressed with Dr. Coimbra. He's such a humble, wonderful person. He is not making money on these thousands of people that are out there on the protocol. He
and
trains
just so
doctors
people
for
know,
free.
neither do I, neither does Gene.
Yep,
We just want people to get better.
that's right. And that's a wonderful thing.
It is. Well, uh, thank you, Gene. It was such a pleasure meeting you and
Same
finally seeing
here.
you. Um, I see your post on Facebook all the time, and you're giving back, and that's really nice because people are skeptical, people um, worry, and I know that if you would want to contact Gene for some reason or contact me, we're always available, and
Definitely.
we're here for you to answer any questions you have. If you give me too many questions, I'll tell you talk to Gene. Um, anyway, Gene, it was a pleasure. Thank you
It was
so
a pleasure
much.
for me too.
Thank you so much for doing this, and I hope somebody out there that this causes you to do the protocol.
I
Um,
hope so.
I'm going to get off here unless you got something you want to add.
No, I think that about does it.
All right.
Have a
Uh,
good one.
we'll post this up on YouTube, and then it'll go to the Facebook pages. And again, thank you. Let's see if I
You're
can
so
turn it.
welcome. Thank you for
See
all
if I
you
can
do
turn.
also.
Oh, you're welcome. All right. Bye bye.